Hey, what it do, y'all? So let's get into a couple of things that we got to get into it today. But I said the main thing that I came to y'all today, let's get down to it. First off, like, share, subscribe, join the channel. It's your boy Paul. So let's get into some stuff, y'all. So we got Cam Newton and K.Michelle. So they ended up there sit down and have a candid conversation about broken homes in the black community. So we end up starting off with Cam Newton. Cam Newton ended up saying that he he believed that kids should be in a household with two families. He believed that kids should be in a house with two parents, man and a woman. That's what he believed in. That's his belief. He said that he have guilt when it comes to. He said I have some guilt because they didn't have things worked out. But K.Michelle came in and said, "Hold up, so you got guilt?" He went, "No, that ain't what I mean. That ain't what I mean." He went, "I mean, I had guilt because the situation didn't work out the way it should have." But he believes in two family household. I'm like, okay, how you believe in two family household, but you out here making um, multiple broken homes? That's one of my questions with him. But they ended up continuing their conversation where they ended up K.Michelle ended up asking him, "So what is your goal? So what is your goal when it comes to because he been in a relationship with the current girlfriend for last couple of years, and she's actually they expecting their second child together, and so she asked him, "What is your goal when it comes to now with your significant other? Now that y'all already have one kid together, but y'all having another, is you still you believe in a two family household? If that's what you're trying to build?" Or whatever. So he ended up coming out and coming to us and letting us know that he what was it? Okay. He came in and let us know. He said um he never answered the question. Actually, when she asked him that specific question, are you trying to build that two family household that you say you believe in with your the current woman that you're with and you having a baby with? He said no, he didn't answer it. He moved on to the next subject. And he went into going into what was it? Here it go. He said I have had situations where I thought that things was gonna work out, but it didn't. And I said, he said, I always think that when it came to this relationship, this is always the last one. I said, how? How is this the last one? I said, so you didn't cheated on majority of the women that you done been with, even the one now, if I'm not mistaken. Allegedly, you have already stepped out on her, but she's still sticking around. And you just keep, hey, in the chat, how y'all doing? You just keep doing what you do, but you say you believe in this two family household. And I said, how can you believe in that when you're doing the opposite of that? Then he said that, since it didn't work out with the other situation, that he tried with his kids to make sure that he had quality time with them. He makes so in so many words instead of just saying, I make sure I'm 100% in my kid's life. He gave you the whole runaround on that part. Then they move on to what was it? Okay, so he believed that there should be men and women in a household because only women can teach you certain things and a man can teach you certain things. I hear this all the time, and my opinion, I don't think like that because it's like it's whoever the parent that is mainly in the house. A broken home does not really because there's one parent in the household do not mean that that's a broken home. It doesn't. It really don't. Because if there's two parents in the household, you can still end up with the situation of your kids out here doing everything under the sun and still disrespecting their significant other, whoever that may be. and they still have the example of two parents being in the household and loving each other and working out the situation without getting to over dramatic police and all that other stuff. And your kids do the opposite. So that always not the case that works out, because it seems like a lot of people who are in a two family household end up having the more issues than one family household. Just thinking about it in my head. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. So he said that's what his big thing was, that it can be that going on. So they move on from that. They move on to the next thing where K.Michelle end up asking him. Okay, she ended up asking him, "Do you feel the things that you may have said have hurt your current girl, your current woman, in a way?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "I actually found that out from her. She ended up telling me that certain things that I have said to her, and certain things I have done in the public when it concerning our relationship, and it affected her." He said, because he didn't know. He said, "No, as a man, most men don't think the same way women do. They don't figure out things. Actually, men do. I believe that men do process things. They do process it differently, but they do understand what they're doing, because you are raised by a woman. You have women in your family that's always around. You always got a cousin that you always hanging with that's a female, one or two. So you can't sit here and say that, oh, she had to tell me the situation that the things I said may have affected her, because he ended up giving an example of, you know, a homeboy asked him about a lady they out, his girl standing next to him. He said, they asked, "Would you hit that?" He said, "Yeah." But he said, now that I know how it affected her, when somebody asked me about a girl that just walked past and we all standing there and asked me, "I'm gonna hit that," I'm just gonna be quiet. I said, "You didn't care." I said, "To me, you don't really, you know what you're doing, and you don't really care about your significant other knowing that, yeah, I hit that, while she's standing right next to you, and you talking to a homeboy that's pointing out a female walking past. Yeah, you knew what you was doing. You didn't care." It's like that mindset of not thinking that, "Oh, I don't know what's going on. She had to tell me her feelings, that how that affected her." You should know it. You knew that it affected her when you did something like that. But most, I think, men do things that they just don't care. They know what they're doing is wrong, and they know that the woman that they got next to them, it's always going to, they not going nowhere. So they gonna say what they want to say, do what they want to do, and she just gonna stay there. And majority of them do stay there, and that's the crazy thing about it. But let's move on. Past that, they get into what did we move on to? So K. Michelle ended up asking him about the attacks on his. She feel that his girl, she in the media, she had her own success for herself and everything, and she get attacked online because of him and the things that she says that is in agreement in his mindset of how he thinks. And he comes out to say, that has to deal with what happened inside our home, because I'm the one all up in her ear telling her this and that, how I feel and my thoughts, and she comes to the media and give us, he done already messed up her head, and she comes in, she thinking one way, she didn't got what he didn't plant it in her head, and she come out and say it, and she get dragged. Instead of thinking for herself, she turned it to him. So he ended up pointing that out, that, yeah, she get backlash because of me and what I say to her. I'm like, damn, girl. I said, but she's still around. I said, it's like she lost who she was beforehand, before she got with this man. And it's like everything just how you think independently from who you with, you kind of took it all in. Yes, this man may be successful, but he's dumb as hell. We ain't about to play these games. I said he may think he's smart, but he may be smart business wise, but he's dumber than you know what. But that's just how I feel about it. Let me know how y'all feel. So they move on past that. They move on into what was the next thing? Okay, so Cam ended up going into saying, I'm very successful, and everything, but he said, I still need help. He said, he feels that he needs a woman to always help him out and let him know when he's doing wrong, his girl and stuff. I said, huh? So you want to be, it's all about me, 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 is what I got. It's all about me. Let me know what I'm doing wrong when you know you doing wrong. But you need her to actually point out the wrong that you're doing, period, in a relationship or a situation. That's tiresome. And then you got K.Michelle, like, yeah, men always needs women help. I said that's a damn lie. I said I don't need no woman to help me with anything. If I ask for her opinion, then yes. But I hate that mindset of you thinking, oh yeah. And I said that's another thing that K.Michelle gives me one of them people that thinks like, like she needs a man to be a part of everything and how she thinks. And you no. She ended up talking about her family and stuff. She had a breakdown and everything where she said, I'm the only one out of my family that's not married. Everybody in the family is married. And she started breaking down. I said, girl, what's with the crying, girl? You flooring me with this. Hey, in the chat, how y'all doing? I said, you flooring me with this, girl, because I'm a little confused. It's like, but I said, if you believe in being married and all that, but I said, girl, no offense. I love you to death, but you have a kid. You a single mama. So I'm a little confused here. I'm a little confused here. But she broke down about that. I said they really had a decent conversation overall. But my thing was with Cam Newton. He started off the conversation one way and never answered the question. He went around mostly everything she answered. He answered certain things, but not specifically what she said. And y'all talking about broken homes in a black community. She also said that K.Michelle said she believed that the city girls thing. You got the genders both going at it, and it's destroying families. I said no, it's not. I said ain't none of that destroying anything when it comes to family. Excuse me, because families are being destroyed because of, how can I say this? They not really being destroyed. It's just that people are choosing to mate with certain people they know they shouldn't mate with. They choose not to. They choose to do that because they want to. And then when that person been showing you the whole entire relationship or situation that y'all were in, that they are not the type of person that's going to be a family with you, and you have seen um examples in your life growing up and as all through your friends and stuff ever, you have seen them examples show you that a lot of people out here are not that type of person. They don't want to be in a relationship. They want to have the fun and everything else. They want to get you pregnant, have a kid with you because they tight. And they want to make sure they have a kid with you. And then they want to dip. Sometimes that happens. But people, she's talking about, black men need to be real and start creating real families. I said, what do a black man? I said, you want a black man to step up and create a real home, real family. I said, it takes two people to do that. You want them to step up, but you also have to be a woman and, and realize that the person that you end up messing with or deciding to build with may not be the right one. You may end up doing it by yourself. That can go for either one. Because the woman can actually turn around and walk out and leave you with the kid. And she can be the deadbeat of the whole relationship. And it could be either one. This was a really good conversation on her part. K.Michelle really did, and whatever. But Cam Newton, he's a joke. I said that man's such a joke and such a narcissist, and he really don't answer the question that brings up. It's like you say when he said he had guilt, he felt guilty, but then say I don't have no guilt about that, but it just did the situation didn't work out with that woman. But I said you going around having multiple kids with different women. Just say I don't want to be in a commit. I don't want to be in a long-term relationship. I want to get in, do what I need to do, have two or three kids with this person, and then move on to the next one. Because you keep saying every relationship, I thought this was the last. I said it couldn't be. You ain't thought that was the last. You thought that was the last time you was gonna hit it. You thought that was the last time you was gonna hit it, but you gonna make sure she have a kid. And because if you also thought about being in a relation, you believe in two family households, you wouldn't be out here creating kids with multiple different women. You would be strapping it up. Period. No ands or buts about it. Sober or not, you'll be strapping it up if you believed in so-called two family household. And his is a man and a woman. When it can take one parent to raise a child the right way. And it don't depend on your gender or whatever. It depends on the qualities that you put into the child and what you teach them. How to be a civilized person, hard worker, etc. But let me know how y'all feel about it. It's your boy Paul. Thank y'all for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and join the channel. And I'll get back at y'all later. Bye, y'all.